Everywhere you go, jobs, interviews, dating apps, you need to have a good personality in order to succeed. But what does that exactly mean? And how do you develop a good personality? That is exactly what we're talking about in today's video. If you are somebody who looks at themselves in the mirror and feels like you are not happy with your current self, maybe you want to be more social or more confident, more creative, or just a better communicator, but you are stuck in the same old patterns and you don't know how to change it, then these are actionable psychology-backed tips that are going to change your life. Keep in mind though that these kind of changes are gradual in nature. I am not going to mislead you and say that this will happen overnight or your personality will transform overnight. Most permanent changes take about 1.5 years or 18 months at the earliest. So when you start this journey, remember to be patient with yourself and kind towards yourself. So grab a notebook, commit to the long haul, and let's get started. As harsh as it sounds, looks matter a lot, and I have said this before. The way that you look not only has a huge impact on how people see you, but also your own confidence and what you think about yourself. If you are constantly in old, phate purane kapde, if you are not well groomed, you are not putting in that effort into looking good, you are just signaling to your own brain and to other people around you that you don't deserve this and that you are not somebody who puts in effort, that you're lazy. And I know that that is not the kind of personality that you want to project. So how do you change this? 1. Exercise and eating clean. Obviously, focus on your fitness. The fitter you are, the better you look. Be well groomed. Keep your nails trimmed and clean. Do your skincare. Well-nourished skin goes a long way in making you look and feel good. Take care of your hair. Regular trims are excellent. Oiling, shampooing, conditioning, all of that jazz. Smell good. Use a non-toxic deodorant and have a signature perfume. That goes a long way in making you look put together, and people remember and notice your smell more than they notice how you are dressed. Have a few basic, well-styled outfits in your wardrobe that you can put together at a moment's notice. I am gonna make a video on how to dress better in a few weeks, but I already have a couple of different videos on how to improve your physical personality, have a physical glow up. Make sure you go check them out after this. Work on your posture. Standing tall signals that you are confident in your own skin. Slouching, on the other hand, signals underconfidence. We don't want that. Having good etiquette or having good manners directly impact how other people perceive and interact with you. So etiquettes are nothing but a set of social rules or behaviors that are accepted in various situations. And when you follow proper etiquette for a given situation, for a given location, you show people that you are respectful, that you are considerate, that you have empathy for others. And all of these are super important qualities for having an appealing personality. Keep in mind that different social settings demand different etiquette, but here are a few things that you can focus on to get started. Using polite language. Please, thank you, excuse me, non-negotiables in any situation. When you're interacting with people, these should be like at the tip of your tongue. Respecting personal space, being mindful of how you are communicating, what your body language is like when you are talking to somebody else. Don't go this close and talk to them, right? Don't stand that far apart and talk to them. Maintain good distance. If somebody is feeling uncomfortable in your presence, move away. Remove yourself from that situation. Basic etiquette. Be punctual. Be respectful of other people's times and commitment, and be respectful of your own time. Dress appropriately for the occasion. You will not wear a bikini and go to a formal dinner party, right? Make sure that wherever you are going, you are dressed in the appropriate clothes for that place. Practice good table manners. Learn how to eat with a knife and a fork. Do not speak with your mouth full. Basic stuff. Avoid using your phone in social settings because you want to stay present and you want to stay respectful of other people's company, and stick to your word. If you say something, if you say you are going to do something, deliver on it. And if you know you can't deliver on something, or if you are doubtful, communicate that. Don't promise it unless you know it's a surety. Reliability is a very big personality trait and a great etiquette to have. Improving your communication skills makes you more effective in expressing your thoughts, understanding others, and building strong relationships. Good communication is linked to higher emotional intelligence because it involves empathy, it involves things like active listening, clear articulation, and these skills help you navigate social situations more confidently, reduce your misunderstandings, and they make you more trustworthy. Effective communication reflects and reinforces a well-rounded personality that other people are drawn to, that other people respect. How can you improve your communication? I have already made a video on how to improve your English speaking skills. I will also be making a video on how to improve your communication. We'll do a deep dive. But for now, focus on these few things. Practice active listening. When you are talking to somebody or when somebody is talking to you, practice being fully present, fully focusing on the person who is speaking and then responding thoughtfully instead of going or secluding into your own zone or looking at your phone. Maintain clarity when you are speaking. Use simple, direct language to express your ideas. The language itself that you're using, it does not matter whether you're speaking in English, it doesn't matter whether you're speaking in Hindi or your native tongue. How you talk, the clarity with which you talk, that is more important. Finish your sentences. Do not leave thoughts hanging midway. You know, it often happens when you're in a social situation, when you're at a party and everybody's talking, this person says something, this person says something, and then it's your turn to say something, you say something and somebody else speak and your thought just keeps hanging there midway. You don't want that to happen. Ask them to pause, finish your sentence, and make this a habit, because doing this will also improve your articulation. It will improve how you deliver your dialogue, how you deliver your communication, okay? Be mindful of your tone to ensure that it matches the message that you want to convey. And so many people just get their tone wrong all the time. There's this person that I work with, despite the fact that he's a writer, he writes extremely well, he just does not know how to communicate. And there's a different sort of etiquette or different sort of communication style when you are using text. There's a different sort of communication style when you are using, actual calls or words, when you're speaking it out loud. And you really, really need to understand what tone is appropriate for what situation. You can't just come into a work situation with a lot of arrogance, with a lot of hoity-toity and be like, oh my God, I know the best. And then that reflects in the way that you're communicating. That's not what you want. Practice empathy. You have to be considerate of other people's feelings and perspectives when you are communicating. Communication is not a one-way street. It happens both ways. And if you are not mindful of other people's, feelings and perspectives, you can come off as arrogant, which is not something that you want to do. Pay attention to your body language. Pay attention to other people's body language. How are they responding to what you are saying? Pay attention to your own body language. How do you react when somebody says something? What is your posture like? What are your micro expressions like? All of these things basically help you become a more effective communicator. And finally, learn the art of storytelling. There's this very famous quote by Philip Pullman which says that after food, shelter and companionship, stories are the thing that we need most in the world. And I think he's absolutely right, because stories are how we have surpassed through generations by learning about our past, right? So how you drive your conversation, how you tell your narrative has a huge impact on how you are perceived, what people think of you. So read, listen to good stories and start by learning the art of storytelling. Okay, now that we're done with the basics are out of the way, let's focus on the deeper, more complicated stuff. Now, at any given point in your life, you really need to be clear on, you need to understand where you are at and what in your personality actually needs to change. Most people go through life on autopilot. They just keep doing things the same way, and that is why nothing ever changes. But unless you are aware of what needs to be changed, you are not going to do anything. There's this concept in psychology called metacognition, which in a simplified way means thinking about your own thoughts. Self-reflection allows you to do this, to actually think about the thoughts that you are having. And it is such a beautiful tool for bringing about change in your personality. Because when you become more aware of how you think, how you learn, you can actually make more informed decisions, improve your problem-solving skills, and become more of an effective learner. And that adds so much depth and dimension to your personality you cannot even believe. People like Shah Rukh Khan, they are so self-aware, they're so clear about who they are and where they want to go. They have arrived at this stage through this thought process, through the process of self-reflection and mindfulness. How can you go ahead and do it? A simple daily journaling practice at the end of the day, where you look back and write down about your day, what went right, what went wrong, how you felt about it, and what could you have done differently. Just these 4 questions. You answer them at the end of every day. You will be a completely different person 1 year later. Visualization allows you to mentally rehearse and embody the traits and behaviors that you want to develop. And there's actual neuroscience behind it. When you visualize, your brain actually activates the same neural pathways, the same neural connections, as if you were actually performing those actions. This process basically strengthens those pathways again and again. It improves your neuroplasticity, and then when you actually go to do that action, it makes it a lot easier to replicate that behavior in real situations. For example, if you want to be confident, visualizing yourself as a confident person who can go up and speak to anybody, visualizing yourself having a conversation with a stranger can actually help you align your actions in a way that helps you become confident more easily. The next time that you go have a conversation with a stranger, you'll be a lot more at ease because you've run that scenario 100 times in your head. You are a sum of 5 people you spend the most time around, or the 5 thoughts that you spend the most time on. Basically, you are a product of your environment. And when you want to transform your personality and change your personality traits, you also need to start by changing your environment. And that makes this shift a lot easier for you. By changing elements in your environment like your routine, your social circles, your physical space, you send signals to your brain that you are now aligning with your new identity. This strategy will help you reduce old behavior, it will boost motivation, and it will also decrease procrastination. So how can you go about doing it? Surround yourself with positive role models, even if it is people online and you don't have a lot of good role models in the physical space around you. Look up to and learn from people whose traits you want to embody and develop. Display motivational quotes or reminders around you. I put them up on my vision board, I put them up on my wall, on my mirror, even my phone. These basically act as constant reminders of what I am working towards, and then they help with visualization as well. Next, rearrange your daily routine to include activities that support this new version of you, the new habits that you want to cultivate. So if you want to be a better communicator, set aside 15 minutes a day before you leave for work or your college and practice those skills. Practice speaking out loud in front of a mirror, on your camera. Same goes for confidence. Limit exposure to negative influences. So basically, you want to reduce time you spend on people or media that doesn't align with your desired identity. So if you're somebody who's wanting to be confident but you keep watching reels that show you self-deprecating humor, it'll be very difficult for you to make that mental switch because you are right now consuming this content. Your identity is aligning with this content. If you don't stop it, if you don't switch it up and switch to content that actually aligns with your new identity, it'll be very hard for you to make that shift. What this basically does is it helps you change your personality by gradually expanding your comfort zone and reducing the fear and anxiety that comes with doing new things. This is a concept which is rooted in exposure therapy. It's a principle that involves confronting your fears to alter behaviors or conditioning that is ingrained in your mind. And so it helps you build skills and traits like openness and risk tolerance. By challenging your brain's survival mechanism, which is what usually happens, which is what we default to most of the times, and replacing your old fears with new positive experiences, you basically rewire your personality. This is a way to fast track your personality transformation, right? So a few things that you can do to constantly put yourself in new situation is to, one, challenge yourself for a month. I love doing this, once every year, where you try something new every single day. It could be something as small as going and saying hi to somebody on the metro. Or it could be trying a new type of coffee, or it could be trying a new type of food. Maybe it's wearing something that you don't think you look good in, but you want to step out of the house in it just to make yourself feel comfortable in doing so. Take up hobbies. They are a great way to try new things and to meet new people. And because you do them while you're having fun, you don't even realize you are making an effort and your learning happens on autopilot. Attend social events alone, maybe go to a movie alone. Doing this is a great way to build confidence in unfamiliar situations, to know how to handle yourself if you are ever alone. If you're in a situation where there's nobody around you, how will you take care of yourself then? If you have never done it before. And doing these activities by yourself really allows you to build on that skill. Volunteer for tasks that scare you. You can do this at work, you can do this at school. Maybe you are not great at sports, but you can volunteer to help the sports team in your school. Maybe you are not so great at public speaking, but you volunteer to speak on a topic at your next office party. things like that. Join a public speaking group to overcome the fear of speaking to others. You can join a dance class, anything that puts you in a group of people where you are doing an activity that you either don't know or you're not comfortable doing, and that just expands your comfort zone over time. You can also travel to a new place to experience different cultures and environments, and you can reflect on each new experience to reinforce the positive changes in your personality. Now, while affirmations are widely recognized in the field of manifestation, they also hold a lot of importance in psychology. Both the self-perception theory and the affirmation theory support the idea that regularly affirming your new identity or regularly affirming the change that you want to create through positive statements can really solidify this identity shift in your subconscious, right? It is one thing to fake it. It is one thing to pretend to be confident, and it is another thing to believe that you are getting to a place where you're extremely confident, right? So when you internally actually believe it, it shows up more authentically because your subconscious starts to believe it. And affirmations are a great way to do that. It's a great way to alter your self-perception. It leads to tangible changes in your behavior and your outlook. So one easy way to do this is to identify an area where you are struggling the most and create 3 affirmations related to that area. For example, let's say that you're struggling with confidence, right? You want to become more confident. So your affirmations can be as simple as I am confident, I show up authentically, I am the best version of myself. And once you have crafted these affirmations, you can also, by the way, look them up on Pinterest. Start by saying them out loud daily. A great exercise is to just do it in front of the mirror as soon as you wake up, like when you're brushing your teeth. I told you in the last video to do a high five in the mirror, right? High five yourself in the mirror. Alongside it, just go ahead and say these 3 or 4 affirmations that you want to embody, right? And also write them down in your journal in the present tense. So I am confident, I am the best version of myself, I am great at social situations, things like that. Personality transformations require permanent shifts in your brain's chemistry, right? If you don't make that permanent shift, you are going to go back and default to your old behaviors. So what is the easiest way to transform your brain's chemistry? That is building new habits to replace your old habits. So we come back to this concept in neuroscience and in psychology called neuroplasticity, which basically means that when you repeatedly engage in a new habit, you strengthen the neural pathways related to that habit, to that behavior. And when you are strengthening these new neural pathways, you are weakening the pathways that are associated with your older, less desirable behavior. Now, theory is great, but how do you actually bring about this change? You do this by using something called the cue routine reward cycle, which was just like a concept shared by James Clear in Atomic Habits. I love that book. Basically, you start by figuring out the identity shift you want to make. Let's say you want to become more confident, right? You want to become a confident speaker. That is your cue. You then need to build a routine to put this into effect. So maybe this looks like practicing speaking on a new topic 15 minutes before you leave for work or your college every single day, and recording yourself while you are doing it. Then you start to share your clips on social media. Maybe you just start to watch them back at the end of every day, and you start to get real world feedback that helps you improve your communication. Before you know it, you are confidently able to hold a conversation, speak in front of an audience. And when you achieve that goal, you go ahead and give yourself a reward, which truly can be anything. What I'm basically getting at with this point is that in order to have any sort of identity shift, in order to have any sort of personality transformation, you want to turn that shift into small achievable actions, which build this habit, which when practiced consistently, automatically creates that change. One key sign of someone having a strong personality is that they take initiative. They don't just sit around and wait for life to happen to them. And building this trait is super important if you are looking for that major personality transformation. In fact, building this trait is one of the first things you should do because that also makes you take initiative towards changing your personality. Now, I know that doing this is hard. In fact, everything that we've talked about on this list is going to be hard, but that is the beauty of it. When you take initiative, when you put yourself in hard situations, and when you voluntarily do hard things, it actually increases your mental toughness and resilience. So brain scans and neural imaging has shown that there's this brain region that plays a massive role in processing rewarding outcomes. And it gets more strongly activated when you achieve something through higher effort. When you work hard for something and achieve it, that brain center lights up more than if it was a lower effort thing. So how can you become somebody who takes initiative? Start by identifying small tasks that need attention. Maybe it's organizing a workspace, planning a team meeting, and then instead of putting them off for later or for somebody else to do, volunteer to take them on. Set personal goals for improving yourself, like learning a new skill or completing a course, and then take active steps towards achieving them. A friend of mine is learning Spanish like this using Duolingo, and he's been at it for the last 6 months. He's actually now able to hold a conversation in Spanish. Propose new ideas or solutions during meetings, discussions, even if they're just small suggestions for improvement. But don't be dumb and just do it for the sake of doing it. Spend some time analyzing and then propose your ideas. And take on challenges outside of your comfort zone, like speaking up in public or starting a new hobby, starting a new YouTube channel. Drishti Sharma, a friend of mine, does this so well, and I love her for it. The way she does her Skill of the Month challenge, absolutely beautiful. And finally, follow through on commitments by ensuring that tasks are completed on time and to the best of your ability. Which person would you rather be? Somebody who whines and cribs constantly and never seems to be happy with anything, or somebody who, when they are faced with a problem, actually try to figure out a solution of how they can get out of it? Becoming solution-oriented is a mindset shift which is essential for personal growth and effective problem solving. It is a huge part of your personality. People want to be around people who are solution-oriented. And if you want to become this person, start by doing these few things. Start by reframing problems as challenges to be solved rather than as setbacks or roadblocks. This is a concept called learned optimism in psychology, which was developed by Martin Seligman. It's the idea that optimism can be cultivated by challenging negative self-talk and focusing on positive outcomes. Optimistic individuals are more solution-focused because they believe in the possibility of positive change and they're motivated to find out solutions. Ask yourself, what can I do about this? Whenever you encounter an issue, instead of just constantly saying, oh my God, why did this happen? Oh my God, why am I so unlucky? Focus on, what can I do about it? Seek alternative perspectives. Always discuss your problem with others who might have different insights or solutions to it. Sometimes when we're trying to tackle a problem and we have been at it for a really long time, it can feel like it's an unsolvable thing. But as soon as you gain outside perspective, you'll be surprised by how solvable it becomes. So do that, practice multiple brainstorming sessions and reflect on your past successes where you have solved problem effectively. That will help you boost your confidence and help you handle new challenges. A lot of the times, our personality, even if we have worked on it, does not shine through, or we are not able to show up in the world like we internally are because we fear rejection. We are afraid of people judging us, and that is a very natural fear. But you know, this is something that you can tackle very easily with exposure therapy by practicing being in the public eye. Something as simple as wearing a fancy outfit while you're going out and doing the most basic stuff like grocery shopping. It puts you in a situation where people look at you, and that makes you more comfortable with being looked at. Over time, it helps reduce that fear of judgment. So a few things that you can try doing are start by speaking up in small group settings. This helps you build confidence in expressing your opinions. Share your ideas in meetings or class discussions to practice vocalizing your thoughts. Use social media platforms to express your views on topics that you care about. Volunteer for public speaking opportunities like giving a presentation, leading a discussion, and challenge yourself to initiate conversation with new people. This could be like a weekly challenge, something that you do every month. When you start doing it, you will realize that's actually a lot easier to do than you were thinking in your head. One reason that people around the world love Shah Rukh Khan, and I keep coming back to Shah Rukh Khan's example because I really adore that man's personality. One reason that people around the world love him is because no matter what the subject matter is, he can talk about it effortlessly. It feels like he's the most well-read person on the planet. How is he doing it? While all of that can take time, it will take years of, building upon information, reading, etc. You can actually start to implement some of those changes by picking 2 to 3 topics that you inherently find interesting and then becoming well informed about those. So doing this not only helps you have deeper knowledge in certain areas, which means that you can talk about them easily, but it also builds something called cognitive flexibility. Basically, it allows you to draw connections between different ideas, between different perspectives, and that makes you a well-rounded individual. And to do this, you only need to focus on two things. Pick the fields that you're interested in. For me, these are psychology, women's issues, and wellness. There are a couple more, but for the purpose of this video, these are the three that I'm picking. And then what you need to do is spend 20 to 30 minutes every day reading up on these topics. You can do it all online through news websites, blog posts, you can even do books. And in less than 6 months, if you do it every day, in less than 6 months, you will know more than most people on the planet on these topics. Having a growth mindset basically means that you believe in your own abilities, your own intelligence and talents, and you believe that they can be developed over time through dedication, hard work, and learning. It was a term that was coined by the psychologist Carol Dweck. When you start adopting a growth mindset and bring it into action, it encourages resilience in you. It makes you more adaptable, which are two very, very crucial traits for personality development. For example, there is a renowned Indian classical dancer and choreographer who overcame a significant physical challenge. She became a renowned dancer despite having lost her leg in a road accident at the age of 18. She remained dedicated to her passion for classical dance. And how was she able to do this? Because of having a growth mindset. Her story is a powerful inspiration for anybody who's facing obstacles. Her story is such a perfect example of what people can overcome if they put their mind to it. I'm talking about Sudha Chandran. If she can become a classical dancer without a leg, what does that say about you and me trying to just change our personality? Self-discipline is one of the biggest markers of having a great personality. Think of anyone you believe who has a great personality, and I can promise you that discipline comes out to be one of their most evident traits. Why is that? Because discipline is one skill that has an impact on every other aspect of your life. Every other thing that we have discussed so far, you can nail it, you can ace it if you are disciplined enough. It is one skill that can actually lead to the most long-term personality changes. But how do you become disciplined? I, my friend, have made a whole other video on this, which a lot of you have actually loved a lot. If you have not seen it, go check it out here, and it will really help you improve your self-discipline and ultimately help you transform your personality. Imagine that you are on this journey of personality transformation. You have made incredible progress, and then suddenly something goes wrong or bad happens and you lose all of that motivation, all of that momentum that you have built so far. And then one missed day turns into a missed week, a month, a year, and now you're an emotional wreck and all your hard work seems to be slipping away. Not a great space to be in. All of this can be prevented if you know how to regulate your emotions better, how to act rationally despite what you are feeling. Now, cognitive behavioral therapy techniques combine a lot of these cognitive restructuring and mindfulness practices that can help you manage your emotions better and shift negative thoughts into positive ones. A few things you can try are deep breathing, techniques like box breathing, Anulom Vilom Pranayam. They actually help calm down your nervous system when you are in a fight or flight state. Identifying and labeling your emotions. This helps you gain clarity and helps you understand what you are feeling by putting a label on it, and so you're able to tackle it better. Challenging your negative thoughts by questioning their validity. This is a tool that is actually used by those who have anxiety. When you start to question your anxious thoughts, why are you having this thought in the first place? Are they actually valid? Is this likely to happen? Things like that. You are able to understand what really is a threat and what's not, and then you're able to reframe those into a positive direction. And engaging in regular physical activity. It helps you release stress, it improves mood, it makes you fitter, it makes you look good, just has benefits all around. Most of the times, people are afraid to go after their dreams. They are afraid to take a step in any direction because they are afraid of failing. And this fear seeps into their personality, obviously. It makes them risk averse. It makes them underconfident. And to change that, you really need to start by changing how you see failure. When you accept that failure is an inevitable part of your journey, you become resilient. You become stronger in the face of failure. You become more adaptable. You learn to navigate that failure and you become more grounded. Your sense of self-worth is improved. And all of these things actually show up in your personality. They make you the person who you want to be. Because when you're on this journey, you are going to make mistakes, you are going to fail, like we've already established, but you will not be able to grow from these mistakes and failures if you don't know that you're making them in the first place, or if you don't know where you are going wrong. Remember that iconic scene from Kuch Kuch Hota Hai where Anjali made a fool of herself in front of Rahul and the entire college by showing up in like this neon pink outfit? Now, instead of doing that, if she had just asked the girlfriends back at her hostel for feedback on her outfit before stepping out, would it not have helped? Taking feedback just means having a few people in your life that you can rely on for honest advice or honest feedback from time to time on important things. You don't have to listen to everyone, but a few core people are important. And when you seek advice, make sure that you don't forget to show gratitude for that feedback, because regular gratitude increases your overall well-being, it increases your life satisfaction, it also makes you appear more approachable and humble to the people around you. And believe me, that can change everything. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not giving you guys homework for this, but I am going to leave timestamps so that you know all of where the pointers are. But like I said at the beginning of the video, after watching this video, you need to keep working on implementing each of these steps. You don't have to do it all together. Focus on one thing at a time. When you master it, then you move on to the next one. And that is why changing your personality, transforming your personality takes time. It takes effort. And I know that that can get frustrating over time. Sometimes you just want results more quickly. And I understand that, which is why I made a whole video on how to completely change your life in 6 months. It is a 6-step framework that helps you truly achieve lasting change in 6 months. So if you are looking to switch things up, if you want to kick things off in high gear, I highly recommend you check out this video next. And I'm gonna see you guys very, very soon in the next one. If you enjoyed this one, subscribe. And I love you.